again! Yeah! Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for tonight. Of course, Destination X on Thursday, July 18th from Louisville, Kentucky. Well, tonight was a decent night tonight. Great night, actually. Great night of Impact Wrestling in Kentucky. We had, of course, the qualifying matches for next week's Ultra X match. Since Chris Sabin rolled the dice tonight, took on Bully Ray, forfeited the TNA X Division Championship, and going for the TNA World Championship. And as you would see in my review, you see in my title of my review, you probably know what happened. But that was a great night. We saw a new championship belt be revealed for the X Division Championship. I'll comment on that. And we may have a new champion, as we saw, like I said, on my title. You probably saw that we have crowned a new champion this evening. But in the lead up to that main event tonight, Chris Sabin against Bully Ray. Let's kick off. And back with the world champ, Bully Ray, talking about his aforementioned match against Chris Sabin tonight for the TNA whatever championship. Saying that he is indeed a dangerous man. And his ace and eights have been dominant, have been winning roughshod on TNA for the last year, despite the fact they lost. They just lost Doc. Doc just got released. And then they lost Taz. Taz was not at ringside tonight. And there has been rumors for weeks. I've been reading that Taz's contract is up. And since TNA is firing everybody left and right, I would not be surprised if Taz is fired by the end of the month. JB took over for Taz. So, what were you wait Taz's status? But like I said, would not be shocked if he gets fired by the end of the month. But it was like saying, all you fans here in Kentucky are cheering for Sabin tonight. Yo, rallying for Sabin tonight. You ain't gonna plan a parade, a celebration parade for him. You're gonna plan a celebration for me and a funeral for him. And he's getting ready to dominate on Sabin. And he's also ready to beat the crap out of the Main Event Mafia. Main Event Mafia, Ace and Eight's war has been brewing for weeks. And the powder keg was ready to explode later on in the evening. But Bully Ray wanted to take care of one other thing. His relationship with his on-again, off-again, estranged storyline wife. Of course, I'm referring to a woman who really got married recently to somebody else. Of course, Brooke Hogan. She's still storyline married to Bully. You know, Bully's been like trying to talk to her for weeks. There's been this confrontation plan. And then Brooke Hogan came out because Bully Ray demanded her to, and she's like, she wants this over. She wants to move on. And so does Hogan. Both Hogans, Brooke and Hulk, wanted this whole thing done. Then indeed, Hulk Hogan dragged Brooke away without any physical confrontation with Bully Ray. As Ace and Eights appeared on the screen saying that you Ace and Eights are strong, but us Main Event Mafia are family. We're going to make sure there'll be an even playing field tonight, a fair playing field with this match tonight with, of course, Bully Ray and Chris Sabin. Now on to our first matchup, which was a rematch, a kind of a reliving of last year's Destination X pay-per-view, because last year was a pay-per-view, now it's an Impact. The man who made it possible to cash in the X Division Championship for an opportunity to wrestle the World Champion, Austin Aries, had a match against the man he beat last year to be the World Champion, is on again and now off again, former tag team partner Bobby Roode is of course part of the Bound for Glory series. This was the only Bound for Glory series match of the evening because they want to focus more on the X Division, which like I said was the majority of the rest of the evening. Especially, like I said, since Sabin forfeited the X Division Championship, there would be qualifying matches for next week's Ultra X. But anyway, this first match between Aries and Roode, pretty good matchup to open up Impact here. And there was some great action between these guys. These guys have never failed. These guys have wrestled many times, and they still put on good matches. You know, Bobby Roode and Aries, in my mind, two of the best hard workers in TNA today. Because Roode wanted to get on the scoreboard. He is 0-3 in the series, and Aries only has 7 points, especially with Magnus in the lead with 49 points. These two must win to get some major points, especially, like I said, for Roode, who has no points right now. There's a couple others who don't have points. I want to get this because I got my own little updated scoreboard here. So Aries dominated for the early half of the matchup, proving that him beating Wood was trying to prove to Wood that last year's victory wasn't a fluke. And then Wood dominated. Some great, great reversals and great counters. Like Austin was going for a big move, and then Wood countered it with the crossface. There's some decent action from these guys. Very high-paced, athletic action. And mostly everyone in the crowd in Kentucky. It was a decent crowd tonight. Planted fans or not. Many fans say, oh, TNA's fans are planted because they can't sell tickets. Blah, 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 blah. So, there was some great action. Like I said, we did get the crossface on at one point. His big submission move. And Daenerys was going for a big ending. And then countered with a DDT. Getting back in the game here. And then, Aries tried many times to go for the brainbuster, many times. But Rude kept counting out of every attempt at the brainbuster. He was going for the suplex. He even had to nail his big clothesline. But as Rude was going for another big-time move, a big slam, Aries nailed elbows in the head. Got back up, nailed the brainbuster finally. After numerous attempts, he got to connect it. And a 1-2-3 victory for Austin Aries. This pinfall victory gives Austin Aries 7 more points in the BFG series. Now with 14 points. And unfortunately for Wood, who won the very first BFG series back in 2011, he's starting out this year's series on a rough note, 0-4. And Wood realized that he's 0-4 by having a little anger tantrum following the match. He threw shit. He was frustrated at himself that he's starting off on the wrong foot in the series, going 0-4, not getting any points. So he's frustrated. Beyond relief, he was smashing things, throwing chairs, So there you go. Wood's frustrated, he still has 0. So like I said, that's the only Bound for Glory series match tonight. There will be AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy next week. But as right now, here's the standings. Of course, the only thing that changed was Aries' placing. Aries had tied with Anderson and Hernandez for 7 points each. And now he's in the driver's seat with 14 points. So Magnus is in the lead still with 49. Samoa Joe, his fellow main event Mafia members, 19 points in second place. Third place is Jeff Hardy with 17. Tied for fourth place now, Daniels and Austin Aries with 14 points each. At sixth place is AJ Styles with 12. Then tied for seventh place is Mr. Anderson Hernandez with 7. And then tied for ninth is Bobby Roode, Kaz, Hernandez, and Jay Badley with 0 points. And in last place, Joseph Park with -10 after his DQ loss against Jeff Hardy when he went nuts that one night when he saw blood. So that's the BFG Series leaderboard. And now let's get on with our first of our 3 qualifying matches for the Ultra Next Max next week. To crown the new X Division champion. We crown new X Division champion with the new X Division championship belt. It was seen on the show tonight and also on Dixie's Twitter. Wow. Is it just me? Or did it look like the old school Intercontinental Championship? It looked like the Intercontinental Championship from way back in 2000, it looked bluish, It had the same kind of design as the Intercontinental Championship back in 2000. I was like, oh my god, it looks like a ripoff of that belt. It looks ugly. I hate the new X Division. I love the old belt. The old belt was awesome. And the new belt is just fucking lame. You know what I mean? If you want to make a new belt, do something original. Have a creative new design. Not basically try to rip off the Intercontinental Championship, which is what TNA did. It looked like the old 2000. I've been watching a lot of old Walls lately on YouTube, and I've seen the old Intercontinental Championship, and it looks exactly like the new X Division Championship. That's what it copied off of. It's stupid. So then we have the new title. We're going to crown a new champion. Next week, since Saban, like I said, forfeited the X Division Championship for the aforementioned World title shot. Here we have a first qualifying match tonight, which involves Homicide, returning for the first time in years in TNA, formerly of LAX, taking on Mr. P.D. Williams. Nice to see him back after a few weeks off. Same as Sanjay Dutt. They are all in there in this triple threat match, the first of 3 qualifiers, and this was a pretty decent. I think all 3 X Division matches were pretty good tonight. I think this was my favorite. You know, there was some great spots in this matchup, some great counters, and like everybody besides Petey did their finishers, the big finish. Like Petey Williams did try to Canadian Destroyer on Homicide, never got to do it, but everybody else got to do their big moves. Like Homicide did the Gringo Killer. You know, some great high flying spots. You know, for being a typical X Division championship qualifying spot fest. You know, this was a pretty good one. You know, great high flying action with everybody going, like I said, doing big moves. Like I said, Petey did try to throw his move, but then he got the Gringo Killer by Sanjay Dutt got the Gringo Killer, but then Dutt got back up and slammed Homicide, throwing out Williams, setting up his big finishing move, the double foot stomp of the top rope, and a 1-2-3 victory for Sanjay Dutt, being the first man to qualify for next week's Ultra X match to determine the new X Division champion. Like I said, great action from these 3 guys. There's some, like I said, some great high flying moves up the top rope, some great spots from these guys, great action from these guys. Nice to see him, Homicide back. I don't know if this was a one-night shot or not, but nice to see him back. And Petey Williams, I know he's been back for a few weeks. I hope to see him back again. And Sanjay Dutt, like I said, gets a victory in his first qualifier to indeed get the shot to beat the new X Division championship with the new belt, which I just said is ugly. And we kept on going with the second of the 3 qualifying matches involving Kenny King against Chavo Guerrero and Medic. Now, Chavo has never won the X Division championship. He is a former multi-time cruiserweight champion in the WWE and WCW. So he had experience in cruiserweight matches, but not in X Division. He's been a former tag champion, TNA, but not a singles champion, let alone X Division. Like I said, taking on Manic and Kenny King. And this is probably my second favorite matches. And there were some great spots in this match too. Like Chavo was going for his big 3 amigos on, I think it was trying to 3 amigos King, and I think it stopped at 2. And then Chavo did the 3 amigos on Manic as well, midway towards the match. And there was some decent spots in this one too. You know, like I said, for being another X Division qualifying match, it's like another big move. Manic looked very good in this matchup. You know, Suicide, but Mayu. You know, I forgot who was it. I know they said the guy, but I forgot his name. I know it's a young guy, but anyway, like Manic looked good in this matchup, going for some big high flying moves with a big cross body on Chavo, and you know, he was like basically destroying Chavo and Kenny at one point in the matchup. But like I said, after Chavo did the 2 attempts of the 3 amigos on both King and Manic, Chavo was going for the big frog splash on Manic, but then Manic got back up and cut him off. And then like King was going for some big moves too, dropping Chavo at one point. And Kenny looked cocky. Of course, Kenny was his usual cocky, confident self, dominating in the later half both Chavo and Manic, and he had everybody out of the ring. It seemed like Kenny was going to try to get a spot and regain his X Division championship. But then Kenny's cockiness caught up to him as he got caught by Manic, what do you want to call him? Suicide, what may you? Going for a double hook gutbuster for the victory in a 1-2-3 for Manic. So Manic and Sanjay Dutt have all advanced to the X Division Championship qualifier to determine a new champion in Ultra X next week. We have the past, the present, and now the future of. I think that's how they did it. Like how they decided to qualify people. You had the past with Sanjay Dutt, the present with Manic, and the future with our next qualifying match would involve 3 up-and-coming X Division wrestlers. 2 of we've seen before, and 1 making his debut in the company. Now, on with our next segment, which involved the impending battle between the Mayhem Mafia and Aces and Eights They're about to get ready to be trying to make things right in their own ways for the big championship match this evening. And Sting came out with main event Mafia, of course. Him, Magnus, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, and I call it still a questionable pick, but we'll see how he does in the main event Mafia. Of course, I'm referring to the so-called heavy hitter, Rampage Jackson. You know, they're all in there, like, they're talking, like, basically they wanted a piece of Ace and Eights. This war's been brewing for weeks. This impending brawl between these two teams have been building up for weeks. This ongoing war in the impending battle tonight, especially, they're going to be against each other, sweating the ringside, trying to, basically turning the championship match into kind of a lumberjack match. It almost looked like that way, with the way the match went tonight. And, they didn't want to wait till the match. They wanted a piece of Ace and Eights now. They wanted a piece of them. But as Magnus and all the rest of Ace and Eights was waiting for, Main Event Mafia was waiting for Ace and Eights to come out to ringside, Anderson and the rest of Ace and Eights, of course, the VP, was on the screen saying, "Hey, we ain't coming to you. You don't tell us what to do. You come to us. We'll meet you in the back. We're getting ready for a celebration party for Bullet." You know, they had the beers and stuff. And things like, "Rampage, you feel a little thirsty? Let's crash down party." So the Main Event Mafia was ready to brawl with the Ace and Eights. Turned out that this was all a setup, all a trap. As Anderson was leading the Main Event Mafia in the back, leading him to a door to batter it out, all the rest of Ace and Eights were willing and waiting. We're able and ready. I was trying to find the right term. We're waiting in the rings to attack the Main Event Mafia. They got Rampage, Magnus, Sting, and Joe in a room. Locked the doors. Bully Ray attacked Sting. And not attacked Sting, but Bully Ray attacked Angle. Dragged him into a truck. And made a truck go far away. And they thought they had taken care of Main Event Mafia for the evening, taking them out of the equation to be involved in this matchup. Even Bully Ray wanted his so-called driver to take Angle to a secret place. But then later on in the evening, we saw Kurt Angle come back in the truck. So Angle was back after being attacked and kidnapped. And Main Event Mafia was alright after that sneak attack and that trap. And Main Event Mafia was going to be able and willing to be in that corner to make sure there would be a fair fight with Chris Sabin and Bully Ray later on in the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now on to our third qualifier. Like I mentioned, we had, like I said, here's the way I think they qualified in. The past, Sanjay, the present, Manic, and I got the future. 3 up-and-coming X-Division wrestlers with an opportunity to qualify for a shot being the new champion. We got Rubix, who we saw before last year. We saw Rockstar Spud, of course, the British guy. And a new guy, like I said, making his debut, Greg Marasilo. I can't pronounce his name. It's Italian. So, Marasilo. And this Greg guy was actually pretty impressive tonight. He looked kind of like, they mentioned this on the announcers thing, but then I looked at it and he did dress kind of weird, like weird pants, but then one of his knee pads, if you watched it, and I think JB, like I said, mentioned it, that on one of his knee pads was Bill Murray. That's weird. And then both his armbands had Abraham Lincoln on it. One had him normal, and then one had him as a zombie. So that's kind of a weird way to dress. And this bad guy was actually impressive. The guy impressed me the most in this matchup. He had the heart, the whole babyface thing. I think it was like the only baby. I think Rubix and Greg were playing baby faces, and Rockstar was clearly playing the heel in this one. I'm surprised everyone chanting USA had him, because like I said, he's a Brit. And Rockstar Spud, he reminds me of Kenny King. Just cocky and overzealous of himself. Really self-centered. He saw that midway towards the match. Like, Spud took too much time for things. Like, Spud took the guy down and going for a big move, but then, like, didn't count. Like, he took too much time and he got caught, But Rubik's did okay, too, but this Greg guy had some great spots. He did, like, a big move off the middle rope. And I like this big splash, like a big crossbody. He flew up the top rope and landed on Rockstar Spud outside the ring. That was a great spot. And then there was one spot where when Rubik's kind of impressed me too. He did like a Shane McMahon type move without the trash can, going coast to coast from wing post to wing post, kicking the hell out of Greg in the corner. And as Rubik's was going for the pin, Rockstar Spud attacked Rubik's. He was going to like have Rubik's do all the damage and he would steal the win. But Greg kicked out before Rockstar Spud would do that and steal the victory. But then as after Spud's attempted pin, going for a powerbomb on Greg countered with a big underhook power dunk. It was a cool move what he did to Spud. And the 1-2 victory for Greg Marcillo. I need to pronounce the last name right. So Greg got the victory in this matchup. And this was okay matchup. These are 3 up and coming guys. I don't think Greg's going to win the championship. But I think if Greg gets built up right, like he has an impressive showing in next week's Ultra Next match. And then, gets a couple more big wins. I think Greg could go places. He's got potential. And he showed it tonight. He has some decent moves. He needs to develop his character more. And develop his energy more. But he's got potential. I hope he don't fire him like Christian York. Like Christian York looked destined. And look at what happened to Christian York. He got fired. So we'll see if Greg makes it in the X Division. So Greg is in the X Division match. The title match next week. Ultimate X. With Sanjay Dutt and Medic. We'll see how they all do. And who becomes the new champ next week. Speaking of championship matches next week. Not only are we going to have another, like I said earlier, the Bound for Glory Series match with AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy next week, and the X Division Ultimate X match next week for the title. We're going to have the Knockouts title going on the line next week, as Mickie James will defend against Gail Kim, who won in a great Knockouts match, the ladder match last week against Terrence. Wow, that was a great match. Now, I said last week, I didn't make a review properly, but I made a comment about it on my Attack Line last Friday. About this Knockouts match. This proved once and for all my point about how the Knockouts are better than the Divas. Knockouts can fight in a ladder match. It was a physical, grueling matchup between Gail and Taryn. I like the ending with Taryn's hair being tied up, with Gail getting the victory, climbing up the ladder and getting that contract. And Mickie James came out seemingly looking like she was going to applaud the Knockouts, saying there was a big moment last week that would change the face of the Knockouts. And I thought she was going to try not to be your ego, self-centered heel, Mickie James self, and talk about the match last week. Instead, she was, of course, talking about her favorite topic, Mickie James. Of course, she is trying to be an up-and-coming country singer, showing clips of a big showcase down in Nashville. I don't know what ball it was, because I went to Nashville once. And the ball scene's great. And Broadway Street, that's a great scene. And I bet you Mickie played one of those balls down there. And I maybe Tootsie's, but it didn't say what balls she played in Nashville. But I was there in the ball scene. And Mickie was like, see how good I am? I'm an up-and-coming star of not just wrestling, but the knockout, not just the knockout division, but knocking out in the music biz as well. But as Mickie was getting self-centered, here comes the #1 contender for the title. Next week, it was Gail Kim. Apparently, she's still turning face. Who knows if Gail's turning face or not. But anywho, Gail's like, Mickie, you can talk about yourself all you want. But my match was great, and I'm ready to beat you and get my title back. And then Mickey's like, it was talking about me and my performance. I get a 5, you get a 2. Yeah, right. That match was more than a 2. A 2 rating, that is a Divas match rating. And Mickie tried to, she was doing the whole rating system, saying that you got 2 stars, I got 5 stars. It was Mickey's ill-fated way of trying to replicate the old Dave Chappelle joke from the Rick James segment. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? So yeah, that's what Mickie James tried to do to Gail, but then Gail countered with a slap of her own, leading towards a cat fight in the middle of the ring, a little brawl, a little preview for the match next week between Gail and Mickie, getting it on before referees got to separate them. They each want a piece of each other. Gail wants the title back, and Mickie still wants to prove that she's the dominant knockout. So there you go. A brawl to tease the title match next week between Gail Kim and Mickie for the Knockouts title. Now, speaking of titles, on to the big one. for the World Heavyweight Championship. Chris Sabin. They've been teasing him all night long. Building it up. The fact he's been out with 2 injuries, coming back to win the X Division Championship, giving it all up for the ultimate opportunity, for the chance to be the TNA World Champion. Even got a little bit of luck given to him by the man who, like I said, got the opportunity, who basically gave the X Division guys an opportunity to cash in what he called Plan C, to give up the X Division Championship for the shot at the world title, of course, before went to Austin Aries. So it was Sabin taking on Bully Ray. Sabin with the heart and the passion. Really paid passion and fueled on adrenaline for the early half of the matchup. Looking really good, and it looked like Sabin did have a chance. Giving Bully Ray a one for his money with them trading off punches, having a punch fight, and really looking good using his speed and agility. But unfortunately, Bully Ray, being the sly, sneaky bully that he is, found the weak point of Chris Sabin, his injured knees. So he focused on the knee for the later half of the matchup. And it looked like Bully Ray was going to retain. I was like, man, I wanted Sabin to win the match. I was like, man, they've been building it all up. They've been hyping it up for Sabin. But I'm fearing that Bully Ray's going to win. He's going to have help from Mason, or in this case, take out Chris Sabin's knees, as you saw in the later in the matchup. Even with Main Event Mafia's involvement, Bully Ray kept, the target was on the knee. He even took the knee brace off at one point. Even took Sabin's whole lace off, really focusing on the knee area, this area. This whole area of Chris Sabin's knee was fully exposed for Bully Ray's disposal of exposing that injury and really milking it and weakening Sabin. And Sabin did try to fight back during that. Every time Sabin tried a piece of offense, trying to get back in the game, Bully Ray would drag him back down again with another hit at the knees. It looked like Sabin was cooked. And I was like, come on, Bully Ray, get it over with, man. You weakened the knee. Sabin's not going to fight back here. Come on. I want Sabin to win, but I felt that Bully Ray was going to, cheat to win, and it looked like it with him taking the knees out of Chris Sabin. He even making fun of Hulk Hogan doing the ear thing at one point. But then as Bully Ray was doing all the damage he could to Sabin's knee, the damage to his knee wasn't damaging to the heart and the passion and the courage of Sabin. He kept fighting back, like I mentioned, until he finally found the courage to really counter back. Going for some big moves, even countering the bully bomb. I thought that Bully was going to get the bully bomb and it was over. But then, like I said, Sabin cut out of that, going for a big kick. And then going for a big drop kick of the top rope. And in the midst of that, of delivering the drop kick to the Bully, he knocked the referee out as well. And it looked like he was going to get the pin and the win. But the referee was out. And then, Ace and H was like, oh man, the referee's out. This is our chance to really cheat. So Anderson pulled out the bull hammer to give the Bully Ray. And at that point, the impending brawl between Ace and Eights and Main Event Mafia happened as a brawl broke out with Ace and Eights clearing the ring out of the Main Event Mafia, or should I say vice versa, Main Event Mafia starting a war with Ace and Eights. Ace and Eights and Main Event Mafia had a brawl going all the way to the back. They were taking the fight all the way to the back, and with no one in sight, with no one to distract Bully Ray or Chris Sabin, with all the Main Event Mafia guys and Ace and Eights finding their way to the back, Bully Ray had a chance to really stealing it. With referees still out, and like I said, all the guys fought up to the back, Bully Ray got his hands on the bull hammer and was ready to nail it, and I thought it was over. He was going to really put the nail in Sabin's coffin now. But as Bully was going for the hammer and he was going to nail Sabin, Sabin countered with a kick and made Bully drop the hammer. Then Sabin grabbed the hammer at one point and tried to nail Bully with it, but then Bully kicked him and was setting up a powerbomb. But as Bully was going up to deliver the powerbomb, Sabin nailed him in the head with the bull hammer. Nailed him in the head, dropped him down. Sabin fell on top of him after that hit to the head in the bull hammer. Referee got back up. 1, 2, 3, yes! I didn't think he was going to do it because I thought Bully Ray was so tough. And I thought Ace and H was going to help him. And I was hoping this was going to happen. I'm glad it did. Especially on my dad's birthday. And I'm from Michigan. Mostly machine guns. Well, made us more happy as if Alex Shelley came out. Iris Shelley was there to share in the celebration of Chris Sabin as he became the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I love Sabin. He's got great charisma, great character, great wrestling ability. And I think everyone said the same thing. I even said the same thing about Aries last year. I think everybody said the same thing about Aries. I didn't think Aries was going to do it. I thought Aries had no chance to be world champion. Because I like Aries, but main event not ready. And then within the span of a year after he won the championship, Aries is one of the main event guys. And he's proven to be a main event guy. And that's the same thing Chris Sabin's doing. He's going to prove to a lot of people that he deserves to be in a main event spot. He deserves to be X Division champion. But not only that, he deserves to be the world champion. And I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think Bully Ray was ever going to lose the championship. But indeed, with a little bit, basically the bullhammer, Bullies used the bullhammer in the past to help him win. And unfortunately, the bullhammer nailed him in the face this time, and he got nailed. And we have a new world champion in Chris Sabin. I'm happy for him, man. The story. The knee injuries, coming back from it to become world champion, giving up the X Division championship, and getting the shot at the championship is one opportunity. And I thought, Bully Ray was going to find another way to win, but I'm happy that Chris Sabin's the new champion. It's something new. It's something fresh. That's what's going to be so cool. Instead of the same guys don't Super Cena hogging the fucking belt. We have a guy who deserves the fucking belt. That's what I like about TNA. They give opportunities to guys like Chris Sabin. You don't see WWE do that. To Daniel Bryan, don't see it. They've had CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have the championship, but then they always eventually give it back to Super Cena. Hey, Punk and Bryan, have your little one, but then we're gonna give it back to Cena. Cena always, So I'm glad that TNA gives opportunity to a guy like Chris Sabin. TNA gives. That's my opinion. That I like TNA's approach on really making stars in TNA. Love them or hate them, but TNA's gotten better the last couple months, and it's better now with the new world champion, Chris Sabin. Great night in Kentucky. So next week, we're going to find out who the new X Division champion is. With Sabin now world champ, we got an X Division championship to fill, which will be determined between Manic, Sanjay Dutt, and Greg Moriscalo. Skilo, whatever you want to call him. And of course, knockouts. Mickey James and Gail Kim next week for the title, and Jeff Hardy against AJ Styles. Yeah, remember. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles next week. Bound for Glory Series match. That is it for my TNA Impact review for tonight. I'll see you all later. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great night and have a good weekend too. Yeah, and stay cool out there, especially in Michigan where it's hotter than a mother. Yeah.